Creighton's coming to the stage now to share a powerful family story and how Encompass became such a critical component of that, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes to the stage, as advertised, Creighton Hilstad to the stage. There you go. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
So imagine, after a 3-year wait, excuse me, in the foster adopt program, the call finally comes. You have been chosen to receive a child. If you say yes, you'll be presented with a 6-year-old boy. But you only have 15 minutes to make your decision. So this decision is to take him or not. So what do you do in those 15 minutes? Well, you call everybody you know. Nobody answers the phone. This is on a Friday afternoon, about 3:45, nobody answered. A few minutes later, probably like 20 minutes after we started the process, we got a few calls back, and everyone said, yes, do it. So now you have 1 hour to get ready to pick up your new 6-year-old boy. One of the biggest moments of your life. This was our reality on a Friday afternoon in 2016. We had just gotten off a plane from Disneyland, a little vacation, not knowing what was going to happen. So the night before, I had secretly wished upon a star at Disney. I knew the fireworks, Tinkerbell going over, right? So I had hoped for our family to be complete and how it would be great next time we were here, we had a child. Not knowing this dream would come true within hours. We received very little information. We were told that he was 6 years old, ready for adoption, and then he was a kind, smart boy with cute teeth. The pickup location was planned for a backlot of Target in the dark. Yes, you have heard that one correct. Not in a DHCS office, but in a backlot of a Target. We got there early because we had to buy a booster seat. We were prepared for a baby, so we didn't have anything. We got a small toy as a gift and a bottle of gummy bear vitamins. We were a little panicked, so we didn't know what we were doing. Just a little frazzled. The car pulled up, a door opened, and we heard, "Are you Creighton and Eddie?" And we were like, "Yeah." Then a second later, a back window rolled down, and this very small little boy said, "Hey, guys." After a few bits of information, we exchanged, and we loaded Christopher's belongings into our car, and we were off. Eddie and I looked at each other. What now? Well, what now became, let's do this. And within a few days, we were all adjusting and figuring out things. Registering for school, learning about Christopher's likes and dislikes. Everything we were told about Christopher was completely the opposite. We were told he likes kid stuff, chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. Well, it turns out he wanted a roasted chicken, fresh fruit, and milk. It wasn't until 10 days later that we finally heard from the state of Washington. We had this child for 10 days, and not one person called to check up on him. Once we got a hold of them, they immediately wanted to see him and inspect our home. The very next day, our place was loaded with people walking through our house and peppering Christopher with questions. At the end of the visit, we asked about his adoption status. His social worker informed us that he was not available for adoption. This is what we were originally told, that he was available. This was an emergency placement. Eddie and I felt betrayed and lied to. We also felt extremely uneasy that they would take Christopher away since he was just an emergency placement. When we got Christopher, we did not know the following. He was horribly neglected. His mother was a drug addict, or currently still is. He lived in a car for over 2 years, confined to a car seat. He was taught to brush his teeth with Sprite. He was also bathed in Sprite so he would smell fresh. Those cute teeth they told us about were actually extracted. He had 12 of his baby teeth pulled due to rot in the cages before coming to us. He was so skinny and frail, I remember clearly being able to see each and every rib that first night. He was also taught to steal and siphon gas from cars. This gas was stored in Sprite and Coke bottles beneath his feet in the back seat. He was 5 at the time. He witnessed acts by his mother that no child should ever see. He was horribly abused by his father. He has a possibility of 11 siblings. And on top of all that, he was abused by his foster mom during his kindergarten year. No one heard his cry for help. A trip to the hospital made someone finally listen. The foster mom we got Christopher from was an emergency placement caregiver, so it wasn't not her. She was a good woman. The woman who abused him would push him to the floor, kick him, and pull his hair. So 2 weeks in, what do? We decided that we loved this child, and we were going to protect him by all means possible. With no medical records of any kind, we were at a loss on what to do. We knew he had seen a counselor at some point, so that seemed a good place to start in this process. Our neighbor and good friend, Brad Hutt, was on the board of directors for Encompass. He suggested that Encompass could help. Well, we were like, what's Encompass? We didn't have a clue. Brad said he'd inquire about services for us, and the next day I received a call from Executive Director Nella Cumming. The very next day, so our journey began with Encompass. Nella got us in touch with Kim Counselor, Director of Pediatric Therapy. Kim spent almost 2 hours with us hearing our story and hearing what little we knew about Christopher's previous life. A couple days later, Christopher got assigned to Marnie Crawford, his behavioral therapist. It took time for Christopher to open up to Marnie. It took about over 2 years for him to really become comfortable and honest with her. We're finally getting to a point where we're understanding his past. He is now able to share his feelings and work on things that scare him. Marnie, Eddie, and I thank you for everything you've done for us and continue to do for us to this day. Let's see. Christopher also got to work with Megan Daniels, and that was for occupational therapy. Megan did amazing work with him. With Christopher being confined to a car seat for days and hours at a time, and with his physical development so far behind, occupational therapy was needed to help Christopher learn to write correctly, sit in different types of chairs, work on body movement and balance. We are so grateful to everyone at Encompass for putting 100% into Christopher and his needs. Brad, thank you for getting us on this journey. Christopher was also put through hell, being forced to have parent contact twice a week via phone and once a week in person with mom. Phone visits were traumatic, taking Christopher days to recover from. Despite court petitions and monthly court visits, the state insisted on requiring these calls and visits to continue. Even with so many people trying to get them stopped, Encompass was a lifesaver, helping us work with Christopher to pick up the pieces after the difficult calls and visits. We specifically want to thank Kat Kaiser, behavioral therapist and social worker, for her support during this stressful time. Several months later, we were introduced to parent-child interaction therapy at Encompass. We learned that PCIT was an evidence-based behavioral management program where parents are coached on how to implement strategies to reduce disruptive behavior in their children. We were at a point where we would try anything. Christopher was at times not able to control himself, running into busy parking lots, not able to sit still, controlled children and adults several times while playing games and activities to suit his needs. Once we began PCIT, we began noticing positive changes in Christopher. We were better able to guide him when we were at the supermarket or in random stores. He was now able to regulate himself and was able to take direction. These days, trips to the market or store are easy and enjoyable. Have you ever heard a parent say that? Just as we were making progress, Christopher's biological father wanted the PCI therapy to stop. If he wanted to stop if he could not be on the phone while we were in the therapy sessions. His attorney pointed us as unfit parents for needing PCIT. And that hurt, as we were trying anything we could to help Christopher. We finally got a judge that would shut down the conversation and side with us and Christopher's needs. Encompass continues to support and guide us, even taking the time to check in on us. I am very lucky and thankful to Marnie for noticing that I needed additional help during this journey. Marnie connected me to a therapist that allowed me to learn that I needed to take better care of myself during this journey. What we learned is that the village we were building would be a life support we needed. We had the incredible support team at Encompass. We had amazing support from North Bend Elementary. Stephanie Shepard, where are you? Right there. And we had the amazing support of the entire back. Also, as part of this village we were building, we got Christopher involved in swim lessons. We needed an outlet to get some of this energy out of this boy. Well, let me tell you how lucky we got that first night. We got Bridget Verde, recreation supervisor at Skyview Pool, and my boss. Bridget listened to us and understood Christopher's needs and how to teach him. Bridget also took the time to assign him to the most appropriate instructors as he continued his swimming journey. Christopher has become an awesome swimmer, and we are so very proud. Thank you, Bridget. We also enrolled Christopher into martial arts up here on the ridge at DMW. They stuck with Christopher, and they have continued to stick with Christopher. And we know, sorry, it was upside down. During this journey, we originally gave them an extremely wild child. Now we have a little guy that has just earned his green belt. Green belt, yay. Go, Christopher. Several months into this journey, the option to adopt Christopher became available to us. Eventually, his mom realized she was not able to care for him and that he was now in a loving home and people who would love him and care for him. She surrendered her parental rights. His biological father had his rights severed by the courts. Yes. That was a good day, it really was. If you only knew the story on that one. On January 15th, almost 3 years, Christopher was finally adopted. What a surreal moment at 4:10 p.m. Our family was officially complete. We felt this huge weight off our shoulders. Christopher is so proud of his new last name, and so many people in this room were there that day. We are his very proud dads. So what we know now, we know Christopher is supported by incredible neighbors. We know friends and family as well. We know Christopher is healthy and safe. Now let me tell you, he's very healthy and he's very safe, but he's very healthy. We know Christopher has family that love him. We know Christopher will look back someday and hear the stories of his journey and be thankful. But most of all, we know that Christopher is loved, not just by us, but by many people here today. Christopher will be celebrating his 9th birthday in June, and we could not be more proud of him. Sometimes, all the time, Eddie and I wonder how we made it through the first 6 months without Encompass. We were struggling right alongside Christopher, but Encompass embraced our entire family. They gave Christopher a chance. They gave all 3 of us a chance. We know that there are many kids like Christopher out there, and parents like us who need the support of Encompass and their journey. That's why I'm asking today for you to join me in helping families get the vital services they need with a gift to Encompass. Thank you very much.